those things on the weekend. So you're all striving, you're all pushing each other to do that.
So essentially, the organizational skills that you may or may not have already had
Right.
apply both in your fraternity and during the week.
Right. And it's just the same skills that you need to plan an event for the fraternity as the same skills for being able to plan for a test, like, or just anything in life. Just the skills that you learn in a fraternity, you can apply them in other facets of your life. So, yeah, it's but yeah, definitely planning. Plan during the week, get all the work done in the week, and then enjoy yourself on the weekends. That seems to be the recipe.
So, how do most people respond when they find out you're part of a fraternity?
So the women kind of look at me and they're like, "Oh, you're a frat guy. You're just a party animal." Which, I mean, it's just a stereotype that we get. But other guys, they hear that and it's like, "Wow, you're kind of like the man on campus. You probably know a lot of people, and everyone thinks about it differently." Like I said, women think of me as trouble, and then the guys, like they almost respect it. They're like, "Wow, you did that. That's pretty cool."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just with anything, it's just a stereotype, I would think.
Do you find it troubling when people, well, in your example, when women
Right. I mean,
give you this stereotype?
that's just the immediate reaction when they hear it. They think that, and then, it's just like with anything. When they walk up, they talk to me. They're like, "Oh, you're not just a party animal. You actually are a nice guy. You actually do more in your fraternity than just throw parties." I think it's just about getting the word out. Just being effectively telling people what we actually do. Yes, we have fun, but we also do very productive things. So yeah, I just think it's a lot of misconception around.
Yeah, so don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
So, besides just complete strangers, other people on campus, how did your parents react when you first told them you had joined a fraternity?
They didn't seem to mind. My mom kind of had the same stereotypes as the women on campus, because they think the same thing. But again, it's just I explained it to her what we do, what we're actually about, what the fraternity. She actually met some of the people, my friends in the fraternity,
Mm-hmm.
and she's on board. She loves it. My dad didn't really care because he was part of a fraternity, so he was like, "Yeah, do it. If it's for you, great. If not, it's fine." So that's that's pretty much it. Man, my parents didn't really care though. Didn't really bother them.
Did they ever ask you what were your reasons and motivations for joining a fraternity?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because they were kind of caught off guard because in high school I didn't. Well, but even before college, I didn't make a conscious decision to say, "Hey, I want to join a fraternity."
Mm-hmm.
I just was with a buddy, said, "Hey, my friend," so a friend of a friend, he's like, "Hey, he's part of this fraternity, they're doing Rush Week, you should come out, it'd be a good time." And I was like, "Heck yeah, why not?" So I went there, and as I did the events, we had a poker night, and I was talking to one of the guys there, and I was like, "Wow, this is, I'm like, I like this guy," and I met some of his friends. I was like, "Wow, these guys I want to be around these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I like this group." And then one thing to another, here I am, part of the fraternity now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so pretty much you just picked the first one you came across.
Yeah, spur of the moment. But I wouldn't say it was just like, "Hey, I don't have any other options, so this is just it." It was just, I went to the Rush Week and I really liked it. I just haven't looked back. I knew it right then and there. I was like, I like the people that I'm with. I like the group, and I'm just gonna stick with it.
Yeah, don't fix if it's not broken.
Yeah, it's good.
So how do you think being a member of a Greek organization help you post-graduation?
So people are kind of split in the middle here, because some people see it as a negative thing,
Mm-hmm.
that you're part of a fraternity or sorority, because again, it's the stereotype of partying and just having a good time and not focusing on your work. But then there's the other aspect, and this is the part this is what I think, and I've met people that have had the same experience as me who have been in a fraternity. They meet people who have also been in that fraternity, maybe outside of state, and they can get them a good in at a job or a company.
Yeah.
And that's, again, because we share that bond of like, hey, we're part of the same brotherhood, or if you're in a sorority, and then that sisterhood, and you get the job, and you know that's why I'm here for college, get the job, right? So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits to it. I just think people again focus too much on the partying aspect,
Yeah.
and they don't really get the networking that really goes on
Yeah.
in like an organization like that, you know.
So, like you said about, potentially meeting someone who was part of that fraternity that you
Mhm.
were in or a different chapter out of state,
Right.
why do you think they might look at it as a positive besides you just have that in common?
Well, okay, so since they were part of the fraternity, they know the work that we do, that we
Mhm.
put in as a fraternity, especially if they're part of the same chapter. So they know, hey, especially if you hold the title like a president, or if you're like vice president of like VP of operations or something like that, where you plan the events and you're speaking to large crowds, or in this case would be your brothers. You're holding presentations. Maybe you're going out and you're talking to other business vendors. Like, so I had to reach out to a bowling alley, talk
Mhm.
about a fundraiser we're doing. We get in contact with them. Just like experiences like that, they know, hey, he knows how to interact professionally. He knows what's required of, good business interpersonal skills, and that's why they look at that and they said, oh, okay, so he knows he has the qualities that we're looking for in
Mhm.
this certain job. They see a good, well-rounded person.
Yeah.
So
And of course, when you're speaking to businesses or whoever about setting up these fundraisers,
right,
you want to put up like a good face for your fraternity.
right, and we're used because we're part of a group. I'm used to representing my group. So when
Mhm.
I get hired into a company, I represent that company. And the person who was hiring me or putting their name out for me, I'm also representing them. So I'm used to representing just people.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for them, voicing their interests and their opinions. I think that's definitely a good quality in the job hiring process. I think that's why a lot of businesses look at that and like that aspect of your resume if you think about doing it or
Yeah,
joining it.
it's basically like a small business.
Right.
Was some people could look
Right.
at it.
Right.
What are some of the things that you have learned about yourself since joining your fraternity?
Well, I am not a big partier. That seems contradictory, but yeah, it helped me a lot, and I learned to focus on school more.
Mhm.
Because again, it's when you first join, you meet a lot of people, and it's all fun and games. It's great, and then you get your first test back, and you're like, "Wow, okay, this is pretty bad." Okay, and then you realize, oh, I'm going to school, and tuition's a lot of money,
Mhm.
and you spend all this time. You gotta what you put in, you've got to get out. You're like, if I put in all this money for schooling education, I better take the time necessary to actually learn, my classes and my course material, and then everything will just come secondary. But yeah, not a big party. You learn that quick, and probably for the better.
Mhm.
Definitely for the better, but just not for me. Not for me.
It leaves you more time.
Right. Yeah. But another interesting side note, I met my girlfriend through my fraternity too. So yeah, we were just